Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jordan with the Laundromat Resource Podcast, and I am super pumped that you're here today to celebrate episode 100. Woo! Yeah. All right. Yay. No, but in all seriousness, super excited. Cannot believe we made it to 100 episodes on a Laundromat podcast. It's been a wild ride. I've been super grateful to meet so many awesome people, both, guests who've been on the show. A huge shout out to every guest who's come on the show, who's made this podcast what it is. I get so many comments, emails, reviews. By the way, if you haven't given me or the podcast a rating or review, don't review me. That's scary. No, but the podcast a rating and review, do that on your favorite platform for me. Whatever your favorite podcasting platform. If you're on YouTube, give us a subscribe, because not only are we at 100 episodes here, but when this comes out, we'll be right about the exact time that I'll be hitting 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Also, huge milestones all over the place. Just big celebration. But seriously, huge thanks to everybody who's come on the show and shared their wisdom, shared their knowledge, and, wants to build a better industry for us all. That's what it's all about. And that doesn't happen without the guests who've come on the show. And so I've loved meeting them. I've loved meeting with so many of you guys who have connected with on all the various different platforms and who've reached out to me via email and who've been on the website, all that stuff. Man, it's just been an awesome, awesome ride. Let's keep it rolling. And if you're listening to this and you have not yet come on the podcast, but you're a laundromat owner, come on, share your story, share your experience, share the lessons you've learned, the good ones, the bad ones. We all benefit from this. And I will just speak from my experience that even when you share your negative experiences, maybe even especially when you share the negative stuff, you'll just benefit so much more than anybody else will. I know that I have over the last couple of years of this podcast that's been running. I've benefited so much just by sharing my story and my pain and my suffering early on in this business. But I've also just had a lot of really great things to share too. And so many of the guests have had great things to share, and they also get a lot out of sharing that. So come on, share your story, and, shoot me a message, Jordan at laundromatresource.com. And let me know you want to come on, because, I hear so often, I don't have anything to share. I don't have any experience, or I'm too shy to come on. All that, you just need to get over that, because you do have a story and people want to hear from you. So come on and join us. Huge shout out, obviously, to all of you guys who've gone on this journey along with us all, listening to the episodes and reaching out, coming to webinars, meeting at different in-person events, checking out the website, reading the ebook, all this stuff. Man, hopefully a lot more to come. I got some really, really fun plans, some really cool stuff going on too right now. A couple things I want to share with you that is happening right now. I just put on the website, a new free course on how to buy a laundromat. It's a 3-part video course that you can go on. It's free. You do need to have the free membership to join, or the pro, but the free one is free. So if you want to take that course, how to buy your first laundromat, that is on there. You can check it out in the menu. You can check it out on the homepage. Click on courses, go to the how to buy your first laundromat course and enroll in that. It's real short. It's a 3 video series, and you're going to get a lot of great information, like legit information on how to buy your first laundromat. The other little course that's up there right now is how to build your own laundromat website. If that's something you want to do, you want to DIY that. There's a course on there. I walk through the whole thing with you, and I even give you a template to start out with. So super good. If you're looking to build your own website, go check out that course. That's just a 1 video course, and it'll walk you through everything you need to know to build your own laundromat website, and a high quality one. Okay. Man, I, again, just blown away to be here right now. It's been a lot of fun. Want to keep the ball rolling. But today I thought it'd be awesome to bring on two legends, Luke and Lee Williford. You may remember Luke from episode 10 of the podcast, way back when, a couple years ago. Well, I brought on Luke again because he's been a fan favorite. A lot of you guys know him from social media. And his brother Lee, who you may not know, he's a little more behind the scenes, but is an equally awesome guy. And they come on and share a ton of wisdom. I've been writing out quotes galore when I was talking to them. So I know you will too. Be ready to take some notes. They got some great wisdom, and everything that we talk about that has a link, I will put a link in the show notes, which will be laundromatresource.com/show 100. Or if you're on YouTube, it'll be down in the description down below. So links to all of Luke and Lee's stuff, links to all the resources and tools we talk about, all that stuff will be there. laundromatresource.com/show 100. All right, let's jump into it, Luke and Lee. And then on the backside, I'll just wrap that up real quick. And then we'll, start working on the next 100. Looking forward to that. All right. Let's bring in Luke and Lee Williford, the Williford Brothers. Luke and Lee Williford, the Williford Brothers. How's it going today, guys?
What's up, Jordan? What's up? Going great.
We've got the West Coast and the East Coast converging here, and this is a monumentous episode here, and not for the reason you think. You might think, hey, episode 100. Big deal. No, Luke and Lee Williford on the podcast today. Huge deal.
Celebrating 100 episodes. Yeah, we're celebrating you today. This came about by me just throwing it out there as a joke. And he said, no, I don't have anything scheduled for the 100th. I'd love to have you guys. We saw you at the Clean Show just a few weeks ago. And yeah, man, congrats and kudos to you for what you've created, the community you've created with Laundromat Resource. Yeah, man.
Awesome. Well, thanks. Yeah, no, when you said that, I was like, yes, let's do it. That would be great. And in fact, you, Luke, were on episode 10 way back. And, just one of the most popular episodes still to this date. And so I was like, who better to have on episode 100 than the real person behind the business, Lee Williford? And then you kind of just tagged along. So
exactly. We'll see how this video goes. It's been cool to see you and Laundromat Resource from conception and just thought, you and I met before you launched your first podcast. And it's just cool to see how it's manifest. Cool to see how our business, since episode 10, I kind of twisted Lee's arm and we started a podcast called the Williford Brothers. We're in our studio today. Obviously, we get a lot of requests and common questions. And so we created our podcast to kind of answer some of those questions. So each one of our podcasts is just a short tidbit on, 20 or so minutes, answering some of the common questions that we get. And I'm sure you also get, from potential laundry owners or veteran laundry owners.
Yeah, we have a passion for laundromat operators, owners, and so that's how all of this happened.
Yeah. Well, if anybody knows you guys, I mean that's very obvious. I love that. That's a big part of the reason why I was like, yes, let's do episode 100 today, because I think we're coming from similar spots. We're coming from, hey, we're owner first in our approach, and really just here trying to help the owners succeed in this business and find, hit their goals and find their freedom and serve their communities better, all that stuff. And so I love, what we got going here. So why don't you do me a favor, everybody, just pause this episode, go on your favorite podcast platform, go subscribe to the Williford Brothers podcast. You're going to get a lot of value over there. So go do that right now. And then come back because we've got an awesome episode. And, a lot of you guys, maybe you haven't seen Lee or heard as much from Lee if you haven't checked out their podcast yet. Luke is all over social media. Lee, you're not so much on social media, right?
Clearly, no one has found my secret Facebook page or my Instagram account.
We are going to go hunting for it.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought it'd be cool if we just kind of kicked off. Number one, maybe you guys can just tell us a little bit about yourself in case anybody doesn't know who you guys are, kind of on a personal level, and then just kind of high level on the business level. And then we'll talk a little bit more detail about your business. So tell us a little bit about you personally.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So two brothers. We're from Eastern North Carolina. We grew up where there's more chickens and hogs than people. And we do come from pretty humble beginnings. And
do you know I grew up on a pig farm?
What?
Yeah, here in California, I grew up on a pig farm.
Nice. Do you have a pig call?
I do not. No. Do you?
Our brother-in-law does.
Josh. He can make a good pig noise.
Yeah. So Eastern North Carolina, we're third generation owner operators, and we are so fortunate to be in this industry. By chance, and just over the last 60 years, our family has been involved in the industry, and Luke and I officially took over our operations a year ago, 100%. And so we've had a lot of fun being full-time owner and operators. We love working in our stores. We love serving our customers with excellence. We love developing our team, and we have a lot of fun along the way. We have beautiful wives, wonderful children, and we just are so blessed.
Yes, exactly. Like Lee said, I'll give you the 1 minute. So in the late 1960s, our grandfather got into the laundry business, and a little later, our dad acquired that store, and that's why we're here today. We were given an opportunity by our father, and we took full advantage of that. And
AKA, we both came home looking for a job.
And we know that Dad wasn't going to take a pay cut, so we had to grow this thing. So we kind of moved it from where there's more chickens and pigs to where there's more people. Because the only difference was the real estate costs. In laundries, the equipment and water and electricity is typically, not much variables, but real estate's really the only difference. And we found that machine that was going to turn once or twice back in the rural markets would turn 10 times or so, or just a lot more in the larger cities. Mm-hmm. So we started growing. We kind of added technology, created a brand. We are very DIY. I do all the installations of all of our equipment. Me and my guys, if you watch my social media, Luke F. Williford, I do all of that. The Wash House Laundromats is our brand. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason we've been able to really grow at the rate. We have equipment come in, and we do that. And a few years ago, we really wanted to continue to scale. We got a couple dozen stores, and the logistics of coins and stuff was becoming a challenge. So we set out. Actually, the good Lord really went before us and opened this door. But we met a gentleman named Lucas, who we became friends with, who was the husband of a current staff member. He had lost his job. He came on to work with us. He put in his 2 weeks notice. I said, no, you're not going anywhere. I said, we're going to find a way to utilize your skill set. He's literally a genius. And we set out to create our own payment system and software. And that was about five years ago. And we've had the systems in stores for about 2.5 years. And we have our own proprietary payment system, actually, that we make right here, assembled in the office right next to where we're shooting this. Hoskins is our guy who does that. And we were thinking about, so we created it, a lot of different obstacles. One thing that got us here, really, if you're watching, you're like, well, they just landed there. But Lee and I will attest, we work extremely hard. That's the reason that we get along well. Sometimes family business dynamics sometimes can be tough, but Lee and I, we're each other's biggest fan, and it's really led to our success and our relationship with Christ, and then each other and our team members and our customers. But that's kind of what led to it, and a lot of hard work. We have our own payment system now. We were going to sell it out to other owners, decided against that. We were going to franchise, actually, and hold.
We came to California to learn all about franchise.
We did.
We left knowing that we did not want to.
California has a way of putting the kibosh on all kinds of things.
And by franchising, I mean, we're going to take our motto and become a franchisor and offer that to other people. And, after deciding not to do that and to continue to grow corporately and grow our payment system by purchasing it from ourselves, that's how we would grow both those companies. And then we still had a heart to help others on a national level. And that's where the Williford Brothers came from. Yeah. So that's kind of how we started the Williford Brothers. And where we're at today, we I think we're on like our 28th podcast episode. But it's really just to help people. I do some consulting. I really love that because I love helping people, and I don't know a whole lot, but I know this laundry game pretty well. So that's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Laundromats and muscles, what you know over there. See ya. Okay, all that's really interesting and all, but I heard that there's some babies around the.
There are.
Are you guys sleeping or?
I am running on 4 hours of sleep, so if I say anything that I shouldn't, I'm just going to blame it on that.
Okay. And I will edit it out and post it separately, just to highlight it a little more. No, but seriously, congrats on the babies. You guys got going.
Yeah.
You guys.
Yes. Unbelievable how it all came to be about.
So Lee has two girls and I have two girls, and we just brought home each a son. So
wow.
Very exciting times. Sleep is
first Williford boys.
Yeah. Our sisters have all boys, and we had all girls, and so we were pressed to carry on the Williford name. And thank the Lord, we couldn't have made it up ourselves, that's for sure. But yeah,
well, I can't wait for the Williford Cousins podcast in about 18 years or so.
Yeah, about 18 years.
Yeah. Well, what's kind of interesting. So I want to kind of dig in. Thank you for the summary of who you guys are and what you guys are up to. I mean, I'd love to dig in just a little bit to your business and, listen, if anybody knows who you guys are, they know you for, well, it's kind of been a running joke since you were on the podcast, actually, that you've got, 20 laundromats, 30 laundromats, 50 on the podcast here, you've got like 1,000 laundromats by now. And it's kind of an ongoing joke that eventually you guys will own every single laundromat in existence. It's just inevitable. So I might as well sell you mine now. No, but seriously, I mean, it's a running joke, but it's serious. I mean, you guys are growing that business and you guys are scaling, and it seems like Luke is ripping equipment out of, stores that you guys acquire to scale up all the time. And, I think you guys have sort of become, someone that a lot of owners are aspiring to. They see you guys, what you guys are doing, and, and want that too. Can you, before we get into like the house and stuff, is it worth it? Like, I mean, you guys own a lot of laundromats. You're dealing with a lot of machines, a lot of people. It's big business. You guys are running. What's it like to actually own a business like that?
It's absolutely worth it. Yes, without a doubt. What a blessing to be able to serve as many people as we do serve with the 33 laundromats that we currently own. And we have a fantastic team who we treat like family because they are family. Our families are blessed by it. We're, creating a legacy for them, and start with one and just go from there. Serve those customers very well. Treat your staff like gold. And if there's an opportunity for number 2, for number 22, for number 52, take it. Our dad was woken up one night when he was at a crossroads, and the Lord just kind of spoke 3 words to him, and that was serve more people. And so we have taken that mantle also and just decided that what we want to do, we do with excellence. It just happens to be in the laundry industry, and that our goal truly is to serve more people and to do it at a level that just hasn't historically happened in our industry. So we have a lot of fun doing it. I mean, if anybody follows Luke, they see how much fun he has. Definitely. I mean, I get to have fun too. Maybe not quite the same level, but numbers are always so fun.
Yeah. What's your fun look like? Like moving cells around spreadsheets and
we're just very fortunate because our skill sets are different, but they complement each other.
Complementary. Yeah.
And we're best friends and biggest fans, like I said, and we work really hard. I mean, Lee tells me to take a vacation every week, but I never listen. He's trying to save money because I'm out finding stores where we're going to have to invest money. So the running joke around here is just going to send me to Costa Rica for the whole 6 months starting 2023, just so we can stop growing. But it's a lot of fun. I kind of serve as chief operating officer, and Lee kind of handles CFO, and together we kind of make decisions, and it's a lot of fun. We joke, I don't even check the bank account or anything like that. I trust him, to do that part. And he trusts me with the general contracting and the hiring of technicians and stuff like that. But I get asked a lot, Jordan, Luke, you're coaching me to get a laundromat from some of my clients. Why are you out like on a roof working so hard? I said, it's because I love it. And also it's because it's what got me here, but you have to fall in love with what you're doing. The thing they always say, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I honestly love what I do. I've taken the passion that I have for like sports back in the day and put that same hustle and passion into what we do. Yeah. And Lord's gone before us every step of the way. Each one of our almost 70 employees is a testimony in itself of just how we met them and how they came on. We've grown large by growing small. Our number one rule for our staff is to meet 2 customers every day by name. And that just has a perpetual effect on the communities we serve. And just really for the person watching, looking to scale or to get in this, just make educated decisions. There's enough information out there from Jordan's podcast, from our podcast, from others out there that you can make educated decisions when you're getting into this business. And that's really our heart. And I know that's your kind of story. And I know most people here have heard your story, Jordan, of how Laundromat Resource was started because of some of your hurdles you had to jump over early on. And we want to help people avoid that. So that's kind of a little bit about us. On a day-to-day basis, people a lot of times ask what we do. Well, I'm planning next week's installations, next week's, task. We're working on acquiring new stores, always in negotiation. We've got a building under contract right now. So we're always, managing our payment system, networking guys who everything's internal. So we don't have anyone we can point the finger at and say they didn't do the job. We always want to be the ones. That carries a large responsibility when you can't say it was another manufacturer's fault or if it was the subcontractor's fault. All of my subs are close friends now. We deal with small subcontractors that we use regularly. And that's how we grow like we have. And And our in-store staff, we've decided in our business model to scale to where we are. We do self-service only. Now, I know in some areas that might not work, so we understand that, but that's what we've decided.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, as you guys are kind of chatting about yourselves and kind of your relationship with each other and your roles in your business, it reminds me of a couple books. I don't know if you've read Traction or Rocket Fuel. Both of those kind of have similar concepts, but it basically has this concept of having the COO and the CEO, CFO kind of roles. And once you have those two roles filled, it's like rocket fuel, right? It gives you traction. Those are the $2, right? It's like rocket fuel, and it really helps you grow that business. And I see that as like a superpower of what you guys have going on right now, and something that allows you to grow. When you get to focus on doing the things that you love, it's, fun for you to be on the rooftops and ripping out old, I've seen like machines at the junkyard and like all kinds of like stuff like that you love. And Lee, when you get to, type in new formulas on your spreadsheets or whatever you do for fun, I don't know.
We get him out there sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. But when you're not having to worry about doing the other side of things, man, it's that whole like 1 + 1 = more than 2 deal, right?
Yeah. If you're 35 or older, I think the word synergy. That's pretty
synergy, yeah, exactly.
A shelf word now, but back in the day, that was the concept. Yeah.
And off of that, I would say if you're out there listening and you're like me or you're like Lee, hire the other part done. If you don't have a counterpart or a brother, hire that thing that you don't like done and let them become a part of your team. Yeah. Even if it's just a contractual basis, you don't need them all the time, whether it's that it's accounting or whatnot. We
did a podcast kind of on that specific thing, is how important it is to know and understand your strengths. And we focus on people's strengths and system weaknesses. So just make sure that whatever it is that you're good at, what I'm good at, what Luke's good at, those happen to be complementary in this type of setting, running a chain of laundromats. And so know your strengths. And if there's an area that you're weak in or you don't have an interest in or not as passionate about, then that's when you go and you create a job description to say, this is the type of person I'm looking for to do this type of work. And you hire that person. It's very scary. Hiring that person is very scary, but you can't operate out of fear. So set yourself a budget. Do some Indeed searching, some wherever you want to find your folks. Always through a referral. Yeah. Right. For sure. Right. For the person who's looking for that job. Yeah. And that is extremely important to make sure, like you said, you can develop that traction before you know it. The word rocket is important to us. You've got that rocket fuel and you're heading to the moon.
Yep. A few years ago, we hired an office administrator to help Lee and I out. And basically we met with her and said, we're going to try to get everything that's between our 2 ears and your 2 ears. And she's sitting in the office next to us. And after a few years, she could literally run the whole show. And I say that to say, people have more capacity than you would think. Even in the laundromat in your store, if you're going to scale what you do, you have to have problem solvers everywhere, at every line of defense, from your laundry attendant. We call them store managers. We want them to be enabled, empowered to solve problems, not to pass it on to somebody else. I want them to
have the authority to make those decisions.
Yeah, they only pass it on to an upline or headquarters a problem if they cannot solve it after they've tried everything, And back to skill sets, I have some store attendants who are not good cleaners, but they're fantastic at engaging with customers. Yeah. They're fantastic at building relationships.
It's not 50-50. Maybe it's 60-40, 70-30 at most.
And then I've got some cleaners that are amazing at cleaning, but they just aren't as good with people. So we try to balance those in the stores together. And it works.
I got a question for you. Okay. Let's get practical. Okay. I want to stick on this sort of traction, rocket fuel. Funny that you mentioned, that rocket's important for you guys. At the clean show, my wife called me and was like, hey, there's a breeder in Georgia who breeds this type of dog. It's an Italian Greyhound. And they have a puppy. I need you to pick it up while you're in Georgia for the clean show. So I went after the clean show and picked up a puppy. And my daughter ended up naming it Rocket. So we got Rocket in the house.
Well, get this. Get this. When we were going to franchise, we're going to franchise nationally. The wash house is not, you can't nationally trademark it. We've tried. It's generic. But we were going to be Rocket Laundromats.
Look at that
slogan and everything. So Rocket, that's funny.
Yeah. I give you permission to use my dog's name.
Yeah. What was your dog?
Yeah. Okay. But I want to stick on that kind of traction just for a second, because I do think that you're hitting on, both in what you have going on and what you were saying about, go hire the other one. But I want to take it a little bit practical. So let's talk to, still the majority of owners of laundromats own 1, 2, maybe 3. But if you're a 1 or 2 laundromat owner, what's the path to get to be able to hire that other one? Do you forego profits for a while and hire the other one in hopes of growing? Do you do all the tasks yourself until you can get to a point where you can afford to hire and keep some of the profits? Do you guys have any advice on, how do you get past that initial hurdle of you got to have something here to be able to go out and hire a quality person, a high caliber person to fill that other role that you're in? You got any advice for us?
Yeah. So 2 things come to my mind initially. You definitely have to have the margin. You have to have the profit margin to be able to compensate that person. And I think you also have to have a mindset of growth to bring that person on. If you are a 1-store owner and let's say this is your full-time gig, you may not need that other person to be a full-time employee. You may be able to outsource it to somebody in the gig economy, or, hire an assistant for $10 an hour who just kind of does your bookkeeping or something. If you are going to grow into 3, 4, 5 stores, you need to make sure that in your budget, however you set up your finances, that you have some cushion to be able to pay that person when you hire them, and then an anticipation of growth in sales to be able to cover that person's expense.
Yeah. Would you say that you would recommend hiring over partnering, bringing on a partner? Because there's, yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
definitely. Yeah. We are in the unique position that we're brothers. We love each other dearly. I feel like one of the most important aspects of my job is to make sure that our relationship is always extremely stable, very healthy, because if it weren't, that just creates such downflow into the organization, and so many people would be affected by it. So it is extremely important. So if you bring in a partner, especially someone you're going to work with, you need to vet that person significantly. And especially if you're going to give up equity, that, you just have to consider what type of equity am I willing to give up versus what type of budget can I afford to pay this person a salary? Because if things go south, separating with employee to employer is a lot easier than any sort of partnership.
And typically partnerships are established not for the qualities, but for the cumulative resources. And there's financing partners for the capital, for the money. Mm-hmm. There's financing partners out there who will partner with you without taking equity, typically. And if you're going to grow this thing from 1 to 2 to 3, on the self-service side, our regional managers cover 5 to 7 locations. So we found that's a good capacity for a regional technician / manager. So he's doing all the facility maintenance. Any issues, he calls the subcontractors. They do annual services, HVAC, plumbing, stuff like that. We sub out HVAC work and plumbing work if it's higher level. But as far as washers and dryers, they do all the maintenance and repairs on those. But 5 to 7 self-service locations, we've got about 7 of those guys, which
in a pretty tight geographic area for each of those. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, I've got a question for you. I'm very curious to the answer to this, actually. Okay, let's say, which this seems likely, act of God just wipes out, North Carolina. It's gone. Your businesses are gone. all the people, they're saved, lifeboats and all that stuff, right? But it's gone, and you guys relocate somewhere else, and you got to start over from scratch. You've got nothing except for what's between your ears, I guess. How would you guys start over from scratch? How would you go about, or would you go about building back your business? And then if you would, how would you go about doing that?
Are we still in North Carolina?
Yeah, sure. The flood waters receded and everybody moved back, but your businesses are gone.
So we moved somewhere. We have to relocate. Here it goes. So you walk into a laundry and you go, "Hey, miss, how you doing?" They go, "Who are you?" Like they always do. They
yep.
I have a washout shirt on there, really, man, but I can always break that down and just let them know we're all people, and tell them, I'm just doing a tour of the facility. Oftentimes we have used laundry equipment for sale, as well as I am a technician. I can fix and repair any laundry equipment. Yeah. So I'm honest with them. I tell them, I see you've got a few out of order machines. Is there any way I could have the owner's number? Because I'm a technician, and I also have used laundry equipment. I'm in the laundry business. And that's oftentimes they go, "Oh, the guy who's working on it's doing a terrible job. I would love to give you the owner's number." And they come and hand it to you and say his name's, John Doe. I go, "Thank you so much." So then I contact John Doe, let him know who I am and what experience I have. And if there's ever, a time we could get lunch together, love to buy his lunch, and kind of just get to build that relationship. Simultaneously, I would be finding a local broker who could be my ambassador in that market, who would be going around looking for spaces that aren't existing laundries, and kind of just giving him kind of square footage and rent rate you got to have. You can't pay too much in this business. And that's kind of what I do. What would you do, like, similarly?
I would hitchhike to San Diego and I would find an older laundromat owner who needs a little help and offer to work for them and see if they would be willing to finance the purchase of their laundromat, or maybe a couple of laundromats, and go from there.
Yeah. Well, because it's interesting because I love hearing you guys talk about this, because those are the things that we tell people, right, to go do. And some people go do it. And if you do that and you continue to do those things, you will find laundromats for sale. You will find a seller finance deal eventually. You may have to earn it a little bit, through some effort and time. Yeah. But, when it doesn't fall into your lap the first time or two, a lot of people give up, right? But it's interesting to hear you guys say that as two guys with, 30 plus laundromats, or 1,000, or however many you guys have now. You probably gained a couple since we started the podcast, but, hearing you just say, "Hey, this is what you do. It's the basics. It's going out, it's building relationships with people, whether that's owners or brokers, it's going out, building relationships with, somebody who maybe needs help with their laundromat or whatever. And trying to, find a deal that works for you and the people that you're trying to work with."
Yeah. And I think one thing, Jordan, a lot of people will come to me in the industry, and we've had people come to us and say, "Why would you tell people what to do?" It's because the greatest gap in the world is between knowing and doing. That is there's information out there to become a plumber tomorrow. You can start your own business, a general contractor, you can YouTube it. All the information is out there. Mm-hmm. It's just
Google how to be a decent human.
Yeah, everything is out there. But I get that a lot. I think in the past, like it was, it's an abundance mindset. It's helping other people. People say, "Well, what if somebody calls you in Raleigh who wants to get in the line?" "Oh, I'm going to help them. I'm going to show them, what markets we haven't gotten to, so they don't make a mistake." And
even on the smaller scale is when we go into a geographic area, it is amazing to see how much people are underserved. So within 2 miles, we opened 10,000 square feet of laundromats. We have two. One is 4,000 square feet. One is 6,000 square feet. And we went from serving 0 people to thousands of people every week. And to say that, all of that laundry came from other laundromats would be incorrect. That's a false statement. So there is always business there that is unaccounted for, people that need to be served for various different reasons, a variety of different reasons. And so when we go in, that's what we want to do. Now, we also know that if we start stacking people one on top of the other, you start chopping up that little small geographic area.
And we've grown a lot through acquisition. When
there's business there,
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I mean,
it's an abundance mindset, and sharing is caring, man. I don't want to see people. I hear horror stories like you do, Jordan, and we want to help people avoid that. Yeah. And you have to know your competitors, of course. If you're coming to North Carolina, or you're coming, know who's doing it and doing it well. And
we say, like, running a laundromat or even a chain of self-service laundromats. It's a simple concept. Our business model is pretty simple. You can figure it out just by going and visiting 1, 2, 3 of our stores, but it's not easy. And so you have to be committed to the work that it takes to launch, to maintain, and to succeed with a simple business model. And so we're just fortunate that, this happens to be one of those industries that is pretty straightforward. But again, it's definitely not easy because there are always so many moving parts.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have people ask, did you take off for this? I'm like, what does take off mean? Like, I have no recollection of what that means.
Monday federal holidays are my favorite days.
I
don't take those off.
No.
But everything's typically quiet. Our stores are very busy. And it's just like something about this good feeling of everybody else is taking a rest and we're like humming along.
Yeah, I think risk tolerance is important. I've talked quite a few people out of getting into this business. I'm sure you do, Jordan, as well. I think I heard you say that. You talk more people out than in. But that conversation is worth a lot when you talk them out of it. Because you're getting into something that's not completely passive or anything. And if it's all about the money, please do not get into it. You have to be a people person in this business. And you have to have a purpose that's more than just yourself. You have to think about who you are serving.
That's right.
We have primary customer. We have an episode on who is your primary customer. And if it's yourself, if you're only building this laundry to support yourself and that's it,
you're in it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
I love that. I've been kind of just reflecting on, episode 100. I'm reflecting on the journey over the last couple of years. And, it's kind of interesting just for Laundromat Resource and the way that I've thought about it. It's been, from day one, hey, I'm trying to help owners get into this business to, serve their communities, to accomplish their goals, get the freedom that they're looking for, all those things. And it's kind of evolved for me in how I think about it to more of, man, I want to equip, and help put owners or future owners in touch with the resources and the information and all that stuff. Yes, for all those things, but I'm really trying to also affect communities across the nation, across the world, on a secondary level. And that really has opened things up for me and broadened my vision of, what I'm trying to do over here and how I'm trying to do it. And it translates, I think, pretty well to what you're saying is like, hey, if you're getting into this thing because it's a good investment opportunity, it is a good investment opportunity. But it's more than that, right? These are real people in real communities, and laundromats are kind of uniquely placed in a lot of communities as one of the few remaining community gathering places. And a lot of times we're serving, especially in the self-serve side, we're serving, lower income people a lot of times. And And so there's just a lot of good, and our industry is traditionally, cranked out zombie mats, which is not serving the community well. And so I love what you guys are doing coming in. And, I've written down a couple times now, serve with excellence, because you've said that multiple times now. And so, yeah, I love that you guys said that. Maybe you can talk just a little bit about what does serve with excellence mean for you guys? What does that look like practically, tangibly?
Lee says these 3 words in every meeting, every Monday, and multiple times a day. Our mission is an excellent customer experience for everybody who walks through our doors. That's the reason that the technician has to be prompt on the tickets that are put out for malfunctions. That's the reason that we make sure the HVAC system is clean and maintained. Mm-hmm. Everything that we do is to create an excellent customer experience for what we call Angela, our primary customer. Yep. She's a single mother with multiple.
We're staring at her. We have a cutout of her, and she's right over here.
We do, but we base all of our decisions from where are we going to put the parking spaces to everything to make it as convenient as possible for her to come in, get her laundry done, get on the Wi-Fi, watch Atmosphere TV. There you go, Mike Kelly. That's your plug.
Link down in the description. Go get it.
But yeah, that everything that we do, you wouldn't think about it. That's why the attendant has to be there to help people. It's to create one goal: excellent customer experience. It's why the bathroom toilet has to be fixed. It's why it has to be unlocked, even though people come in and use it every now and then. It's just part of it. Excellent customer experience. If you're locking your bathrooms, that is not an excellent customer experience.
Or if you're not allowing people to come in and, let's say, just dry only, why would you not do that? Why would you not let someone who wants to spend money in your facility come in and do that? They provide you with income because you have some net there, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
You're providing them with dry clothes, which is what they're looking for.
Yeah, the reason we started and our default was 24/7, but we've really extended our hours is because, think about it, as a customer, if you're closing at 8 p.m., you're creating an argument between your staff, a conflict of interest between your staff and your customer. It is happening. I promise. If you're closing early, even if you're hiring it done, I promise your staff member hates it. Everyone that we take over and extend the hours, the staff's like, oh, this is so great. The best is when they do free dry with coins, and on Sunday he's having to pull the coin boxes and start the dryer. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, we're gonna charge for dry now. And the staff member's like, oh, that's so great. Now I don't have to run myself ragged. Mm-hmm. So not only put yourself in the customer's shoes, but put yourself in the staff member's shoes. Work a day in the life of your staff. Work a week in the life of your staff. If you can't do it, and
take your laundry to the laundromat.
And be a customer. Be a customer. Go in as a customer. We use our stores frequently because we have comforters and big stuff, and heck, it gets backed up with 3 children each now. And just to go try it out to see. One thing I remember going, and I took the clothes out of the dryer, and we didn't have a folding table for it felt like a mile away. I'm like, and we were running low on carts. And when you do that, you're like, oh, so then everything we do is to create that excellent customer experience.
Yes. And we define excellence. So excellence is kind of like style. Everybody has it. Some people just might have it better than others by choice or just by default.
I feel like that was a direct dig towards me. So.
No, yeah. Looking good. So we all have a definition of excellence, and it is typically based on how we want to be treated. And so if you go to Burger King, you're going to have an experience. It is going to be a lot different experience than if you go to Chick-fil-A. Because there is a mindset of how do we treat this person at a level that we have learned is the level that people need to be treated with service, with a level of service that people not just expect, but how do we exceed that? So if expectations are here and we're here, this gap is going beyond expectation. And that's where you build a lot of value. And so we have learned that in our industry, the expectations are typically a little bit lower. So if we are able to exceed those, we create a lot of value for our customers, who then become very brand loyal because we try to dominate our markets, and for ourselves, and for our team members, the way that we've been able to create just this wonderful family of team members, of loyal customers, of ourselves and our families. And the whole thing just works really well because one of our values is excellence. And we want to make sure excellent customer experience, everyone, every day.
And it boils down to leadership. Chick-fil-A made decisions. They made trade-offs at the top to make sure they're creating that for their customer.
Yep.
And that's what we strive to do.
So as the owner operator, you are responsible for it. It's like, style, you're going to get dressed and you're going to wear what you want because you think that is the style that you like. In your laundromats, with your customers, with your team members, you set the standard for excellence. Mm-hmm. And so your stores represent you in that way. And so I think sometimes we don't come at it that way. And when we do, and we say, oh, wow, the state of my store actually reflects who I am, the values that I hold, the level of excellence I've committed to. And when you do that, things change.
And the state of your staff represents you. The most common thing I get is that you blame your staff. Well, I don't have good staff. Well, you don't have good staff because you're not a good leader. I'm sorry. Look yourself in the mirror. Fire that person yesterday who's not doing what they're supposed to. That's one of the things I do. Lee does. If we see something, we cut it out. It's got to go. We give warnings and all that. Once we know they're gone, and what that does, that shows the other staff members that we're not playing and we don't have any tolerance. And oftentimes they appreciate that because we don't want anybody bringing down our brand. Because when we put our brand on it and we put our T-shirt on you in that store, you're our ambassador. They don't know that Lee and Luke own the laundromats, and we don't care that they do. They're going to see you as the person who takes care of them when they come to the store. So we've got an episode on, how to find good staff, and the answer is to be a good leader. And we've got an episode on our podcast with that. I remember one of the questions, because I know that's a huge challenge for people to deliver that excellent customer experience. Those watching are going, well, how do I do that? Well, you've got to get in the store. You've got to train these staff members. Initially, Lee and I painted at night. We've done it all. We hired every staff member. We trained every staff member. We sweep the floors. We've done every aspect of the business. And there's certain things like culture you can't hire done in this business. And you've got to get to a certain scale, like we talked about earlier, before you can, hire a manager. But when you hire that manager, you've also got to oversee him and pour into him or her. We've got to look ourselves in the mirror and say, who are we trying to serve and how we can do that, and make our decisions based on that. Our reinvestment decisions, our painting decisions, our branding decisions. Yeah. We also have an episode we just launched a few weeks ago on brand or expand. So should I reinvest in branding what I already have? Because if you don't know what you're expanding, what are you really expanding? A brand is so important. If I put a Starbucks on this corner right out here, there's no coffee getting sold out there right now. No coffee getting sold. You're going to have $2 million a year in coffee sales right on that corner. You put coffee shop there, just coffee shop, coin laundry, just coffee shop. You might sell $100,000 worth of coffee. Why is that? I think that's where our industry is evolving right now. Mm-hmm. I know that was a lot, but I get going.
Oh, really? You do? That's weird. No, I mean, listen, I mean, a couple things that I'm going to pull a couple things out of that, a million thing. I know we could go all day with all this stuff. So number one, I mean, I love the, hey, it's never the staff members' fault. Like, right. It reminds me of the book, Extreme Ownership. Like, you've got to take ownership of your business and you've got to be the leader of your business. And, I think, Lee, you said something that could be really, really good. or it could really sting some people. And you said, your business reflects you, right?
Yeah.
And that,
does sting, yeah, that's appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah. And for some people, that's a source of pride. Like for you guys, that's a source of pride, right? Your business reflects you. And for some people, that might be a little bit of a stinger there. And it might be a great opportunity to just sit back and reflect and say, okay, if my business is going to reflect me, and this is my current state of my business, what do I want my business to look like? How do I want my business to operate? If it's going to reflect me, if people are going to look at that business and make a judgment on me as a business owner, as a leader, as a person. So I thought that was great. The other thing I wanted to bring up that I thought was really good, when we talk about buying a laundromat or valuing a laundromat, we're talking about, we're looking at the income and the expenses, and, that number kind of between them is, that's the performance of the business, right? That's the value of the business. We're going to base our valuation of the business on that number between the income and expenses a lot of times, right? But what you were saying is that I think translates probably, I was going to say it like a 1-to-1 correlation, but probably even better than a 1-to-1 correlation is that I don't think we think about a lot is the expectation versus where we come in versus those expectation. And that actually is the true value of the business, right? It's hard to quantify that.
It's here.
Yeah.
So we devalue.
Yeah. Right. And so if we can exceed those expectations, the more we can exceed those expectations, the more value that we are providing in the business and the more valuable your business is.
Because the more we can charge our customers, because if they go to the zombie mat down the street that's charging, 15 cents a pound for self-service, and we charge 18 cents a pound, that's incredible value.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just feel like that mindset shift for me and probably for a lot of people listening right now, I think that's worth every penny that we're all paying to be listening to this episode right now and some. No, but genuinely, I think that's a big shift. And we talk about like, hey, we got to provide value. I like framing it as providing value is just exceeding expectations, right? Yeah. Like that's what we mean when we say providing value. And I think a lot of times we have a hard time pinning that down. And Luke, I love what you were saying about that is, hey, we look at everything. Like I even wrote it down, all caps, underline, everything. And you got to filter it through, the customer experience and also your staff experience. Right. And, you mentioned things that probably a lot of us don't think about, like, the HVAC, how does having the HVAC serviced and cleaned, how does that provide value? Customers aren't really going to see it. I mean, they're going to feel it if your HVAC goes out. But yeah, everything. So I love that. I think that's a great perspective shift. I think that's a great way to frame up, how to increase the value of your business and also that reflection of your business on you.
And that sting that we talked about, there is no sting that we have not felt. We have felt those, oh my goodness, this is bad. We need to change something. Mm-hmm. But that is, you have to humble yourself to that position and say, okay, how am I going to do this? And you strategize and you grow, you deliver more value for the customers at that location or wherever you are delivering value, and keep on going.
Like one of the stores I was looking at the other day, I called Lee. We were just going to kind of put lipstick and makeup on it. I said, Lee, we've got to gut this place and go back with new infrastructure. And it's going to cost more, it's just going to cost more, but we can't deliver the excellent customer experience for the next 20 years if we don't make that decision now. Mm-hmm. And, that's just something I thought about. But yeah, all great stuff. I think it's the wow factor. When somebody walks into your store, I have friends call me. They're like, dude, I used your line. Holy moly. Yeah. And that's the best.
So rewarding.
I'm like, oh, yes. I'm always scared at first. And they're like, no, dude, it was amazing. The card system. And
it's like, are you the owner? I'm like, what kind of question do you
maybe not. He's the owner.
Not today.
Let me give you the owner's number.
Yes. I always tell Lee if he talks junk to me, I've got signs made that we're going to put his cell phone number in all the
comments or complaints.
Lee likes his private life. I'm
yeah, that's a lot of leverage you got there.
Yeah. One thing, looking in the mirror and doing those things is hard. And like Lee said, we're not immune to any of this. We've faced it all, and we're not perfect in it now. We got stores you'd probably walk in and say, but I'm working on all those things to make sure we're delivering that excellent customer experience.
And that it's consistent everywhere.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge one. With consistency, I am a stickler for every hot water heater being the same, every washer drains independently into a trough, every dryer ducts independently out the roof.
Because those are best practices. They work really well, especially when you scale.
No coins. Also.
Oh, snap.
Oh, worms.
Listen, here's what's happening right now is you're like
$100,000.
Yeah. You're like, no coins. We have the best card system. You can't have it.
There's some out there.
You've been teasing us all with your card system for years.
There's some out there, man. Sure.
That's awesome.
Here, man.
Yes.
For sure.
Harness it, man. Yes. Hard. Like if you go to Walmart and they're doing something and they're incorporating technology and you see it, just think, how can I use this in my laundromat?
And the myth that our customers, as laundry customers, aren't smart enough or aren't intelligent, that is so far from the truth. Mm-hmm. That is just so far. They're so appreciative when you bring in the technology because they're like, wow, you valued me enough to put this here.
Yeah. And technology accomplishes a goal that's extremely important, and that's reducing the amount of work that your customer has to do to leave satisfied. So when they come in, their arms in our industry are full of dirty laundry. And if you create all this extra work that your customers have to do to leave with partially clean clothes, because your machines aren't working well, they're not going to be happy. But if you reduce the amount of work that those people have to exercise to achieve the goal of leaving with clean laundry, there you go. You've created a lot of value.
Yeah, I think we always look at it as benefit to us, and we just need to make sure we look at it as benefit to our primary customers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Lee, I wrote that quote down. I think that's a great, you said it in the context of technology, which obviously it applies there. But I think even if your entire business plan was to reduce the amount of work your customer has to do to leave satisfied, if that was your business plan, and what you filter things through, you're going to have a successful business, right?
Like the bottom line is going to take care of itself if you treat your customers as your primary customer, your paying customers as your primary customer, and just ask yourself, how can I serve these people with excellence? Yeah. You're going to figure it out and you're going to be successful.
Awesome. Well, I know we could go all day long, but can we just leave with this? I'm going to ask a couple more questions, but one more laundromat related question, I guess. Listen, you guys are killing it. You're doing it with great energy. You're doing it with great hearts. You're trying to serve your customers. You're trying to serve this industry in a whole lot of different ways. By the way, I saw you guys just won a pretty awesome award. So congrats on that for all the hard work you guys do in the industry. Big deal. Can you leave us with some of your top keys to success? In business and or in life, even.
Yeah. What comes to mind is know whom you serve. That is it's very proverbial. It's easy, and that is a good starting place to know who it is you exist to serve and to make decisions based on that question. If you're in this for self-service, meaning serving yourself, you will face really difficult challenges. But if you are in this to serve the people who show up to your business every day to accomplish a task, and you do that with excellence, you will succeed. Yes, the price of natural gas is going to go up and down. Yes, people are going to quit. People are going to, cause problems in your laundromats. But if your objective is to treat those people with respect and kindness and know that you will continue to serve those people with excellence, no matter who walks through the door, everything else will take care of itself. So what comes to mind for me is, know who you will serve.
Yep. I always think of my quote I love, which is the greatest gap in the world is between knowing and doing. We know we need to hold the door for that old lady. We know we need to stop and help that person with the tire on the side of the road if that's what they need. And then,
and if you don't know it, learn it,
Yeah.
And then do it.
And some advice is be present where you are. As owners, I feel like we come into our stores a lot of times and we don't engage customers. You don't engage your staff, talk to them about life, get to know them, the ins and outs of their life. And it's not going to be easy. Mm-hmm. Getting involved in other people's life isn't easy. Getting involved in homeless life isn't easy, but it's so worth it, Yeah. And you may not get an ROI monetarily on it, but man, you're going to get an ROI. And you might say, well, I can't help so many people. Well, just help one. Start with one. Start with one act of kindness. And then secondly is you don't land at the top of the mountain. You do not land at the top of the mountain. Yeah. And it's a climb. Mm-hmm. And the greater, you're magnified as a person, the harder it gets. It's not, what do you always say about the ball?
So the concept of, the snowball effect, I think a lot of times we see the snowball starting small at the top and rolling down the hill because of gravity. But as business owners, as just people who are working ourselves through life, we are starting at the bottom of the mountain with a very small snowball. And we are slowly pushing it up that mountain, fighting gravity. Because it takes work. And before you know it, you're at the top of the mountain with that giant snowball. Because it took work to get there, wherever there happens to be for you.
And with there, we always say we're going to get there. And I realized it's a circle. So I keep
like NASCAR.
Corner and
we don't have a finish line, right?
There is a moving target for sure. Yeah.
And lastly, just scripture, faithful with the small, he'll trust you with the great. If you've got $10,000 saved now and no laundries, faithful with that, he'll trust you with the great. If you've got 1, 2, 3, 10 laundries now, be faithful with that. He'll trust you with the great.
That's your goal.
That just comes to mind. Couple things. One other thing I wanted to mention, I don't want to get away without saying, is that weak points in your business are magnified at scale. So that's just why it's so important to really be honest with yourself with that 1, 2, or 3 locations before you grow to 4, 5, 6. Weak points are at scale. Weak points are magnified at scale. So anything you're like, well, it's a small problem, we'll just keep doing it. Well, you 10x that problem and you have some issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and that, talk about the downhill snowball, also the weak points, that snowball does roll downhill, right? And become bigger if it's not addressed, if you don't address those.
Yes.
Yeah. Sadly, the bad things roll downhill and the good things, you have to roll it uphill. I don't know how that happened, but
I do.
Well, guys, this has been awesome. I got a couple quick questions for you before I let you go. But number one, I just want to remind everybody, if you didn't do it earlier, shame on you, but go subscribe to the Williford Brothers podcast. I'm pretty sure you guys are on all podcasting platforms, right?
Yes.
So make sure you go subscribe to that. Check out their episodes. They referenced a few specific ones throughout this thing, and they have even more and really good stuff. You can tell I took a couple pages of notes, and I always, when I do these interviews, I write down quotes, and usually, there's 2 or 3 good quotes I wrote down. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 quotes I wrote down just from this relatively short podcast interview. So a lot of good stuff. So go check out the Williford Brothers podcast for more. I wanted to bring up too, because my whole mission, my whole goal is to, yes, help educate people to get into this business, to serve their communities well, and also to, help them achieve their goals, but also to put them in touch with resources, tools, things that can help them succeed, whether we're creating it or not. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that we're making a difference through, and again, like you guys, the vehicle happens to be Laundromats right now. But I wanted to bring up, and you guys didn't ask me to do this, but I wanted to bring up, you guys have started doing these boot camps where you're bringing people to yourselves, to your businesses, and doling out the wisdom and showing them operations and introducing them to your teams and all that stuff. Can you just talk about what that is real quick? And then I want to talk about that from my perspective after you talk about what those boot camps are.
Yeah, definitely. So it evolved out of our heart to serve laundromat owner operators throughout the country, even throughout the world, potentially. Getting into this business, you risk losing a lot of money because the system is not set up to ensure that you are successful. So our heart is making sure that as you enter this business or you grow your current business, that you do it in a way that allows you to save time and money and to serve your customers with excellence. So any value that we can create there, we're so grateful to be able to do that. And in trying to craft how best Luke and I can do that together, we decided that one really neat way of doing it would be to bring people into the Triangle, where we're located in Raleigh, North Carolina, and allow them to see how our operations work, to just see what it looks like to have a few stores within a market, to make sure that we are serving well that market, to relay to them some of the best practices, the wisdom, the practical stuff that we've learned in our 10, 15 years of doing this. And we're not afraid at all to share that information. Fortunately, our industry is set up so that we don't think that somebody's going to come in and try to eat us, but if they do, we're prepared for that too. So our goal is just to continue to share wisdom with others and make sure that as they enter this incredible industry, that they are well educated and have a good plan to be successful.
Absolutely. I think just bringing them here, I get a lot of requests for people to come down. We've had some people come down, and we just wanted to kind of prioritize our time this week, that week, and put this together to benefit, just like you're doing, Jordan. It's a resource for laundry owners and potential laundry owners. Why would you bring them in to where you do it? Because we can show them. It's easy to talk about things from a stage, but we're going to literally go and show you the vent pipes. We're going to show you the drain troughs. We're going to show you our staff, our floors, all of those things, not for you to copy them, but for you to be inspired and for you to avoid catastrophes. And for some of these owners, many are several dozen stores coming, so they can continue to scale without becoming enslaved to their business. And put in some operational efficiencies that allow us to do a podcast while also having dozens of stores. So that's kind of where it was born out of. And we're excited. Our first one, I was nervous to launch it in September, just kind of put it out there to a few people, and it filled up really quick. So our September boot camp is full, but we've got our April 25th through 28th boot camp that is open right now. And so we'll link that. You can register for that. Thank you for the pitch there, Jordan, on that. But we're really wanting to help people. With that, you can, check us out. Everything we got going on at thewillifordbrothers.com. We've got a number you can call. We've hired somebody to talk to people when they call in. And
we joke, the cost is about equivalent to one 30-pound washer. And so if you come and we teach you something about just equipment purchases and utilization, and we save you from buying one 30-pound washer that you don't need. You have paid for your experience. So that's our goal. That's almost the bare minimum to make sure that we have a floor and then create value for those owners on top of that.
Yes.
Who's this for? Is this for the person getting into the industry? Is this for the person who's already in the industry? Is it for either, both?
It's probably more geared towards the person who's already in the industry and they're looking to scale things, or they're looking to brand or expand
or get in and do that quickly. If your goal is, well, I'd like to buy 3 or 4 stores within the first 24 months. Then this would be great.
One of the cool things about working with multi-store owners is when we teach an owner and he implements things, it affects dozens of staff members and thousands of customers, which we really like. The perpetual effect of something that you do. I know you felt it, Jordan, by helping somebody over here, and that just has a trickle down effect. I've seen it with guys I've worked with who've opened laundries across the country, and it's just really fulfilling.
Yeah. You do. You change your part of the community.
And we're wanting to give $1 million in value for the price. If you can't justify the price, give our number a call. And if that's what you're concerned about, this isn't for you. But even if we talk somebody out of avoiding the industry, with the boot camp, just to see really what a laundromat business looks like.
Yes.
Because some people many do not want to do what I do on a regular basis. And of course, there's things I can hire out and I could leave tomorrow for a few months and things would be fine. But that's just not what I choose to do right now because I love it. And that's just kind of where we're at. But yeah, come down, come join us. We've also got these Watch Laundromat Resource. I mean, every episode, these things are free to you guys.
Yes.
Watch the Williford Brothers. Every episode, these things are free. Great. There's so much information out there. Utilize all that. And if you want more, you want that one-on-one conversation with Lee and I, sign up for the boot camp. That's why we brought it. I get a lot of direct messages. Hey, can you help me? I love those messages, but there's simply just not enough time in the day to answer all of those. And I know you can relate with that, Jordan, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I would just say, go back to your quote that you brought out a couple times today, and you brought it out the first time you were on, the biggest gap in the world is between knowing and doing, right? And so, yes, listen to all the podcasts or watch all the podcasts, their podcast, my podcast, go, do all your research and everything. But when you're ready to start doing, you'll have the information you need to go do. But if you're looking to kind of avoid mistakes, optimize things, the right way. If you're looking to scale faster, if you're looking to move faster, something like this boot camp is killer. And I'll just say, just as a little plug for the boot camp is, I have an investment fund, Diligence Capital Investments, and I partner with Ross Dodds and Michael Ambrose on that. And I know Michael and Ross actually went out there to go check out your operations sort of boot camp style a while back. So even, we're utilizing the boot camp before there was a boot camp, for similar reasons, because we're looking to scale fast. We want to see, how you guys are setting things up, and helps us shortcut things. So that's my little plug for it. And again, I think, my mindset's changed from when I first got in the business. I got slapped around a little bit, when I got in the business, and I really just learned the value of not having to learn lessons yourself, because it hurts when you get smacked around, right? So somebody else has already gotten smacked around. Somebody else has already gone through the hard work of learning some things. Why don't you just, let them teach you so you don't have to get smacked around? So, so make sure you go check out the boot camp, willifordbrothers.com. I'll put a link to that. Everything that we've talked about, everything will be in the show notes, laundromatresource.com/show 100. And also, if you're on YouTube, it'll be down below in the description. Luke, you mind if I drop a link to your Instagram there? Because I know you're always on that thing.
I'm an open book, man. I'm transparent. Yeah. Good. Love to have you guys follow along with the Williford Brothers. It's not just laundromats. We try to share on life leadership and laundromats. So same with my personal stuff there. Share a lot of just daily encouragement. So it's there. Love for you guys to follow.
Well, guys, you rock. You guys are killing it, obviously in the industry, but you're killing it in life, man. I love what you guys are doing. I love the spirit and the heart behind everything that you guys are doing, whether that's, in the communities in North Carolina over there or worldwide in this industry and beyond even. So thank you guys for joining me for show 100. Tons and tons of really great stuff. Really, really appreciate it. And man, can't wait to see you guys again soon.
We want to turn this and talk about Jordan for a minute. Make sure that you get your membership with Laundromat Resource. Jordan has worked tirelessly to create this community. He's on his 100th podcast. Thank him. Jordan, we thank you for what you've done. It's incredible. And we can look at a picture right now of your 100th, but take time to watch the video. That's what I always say about somebody's life. If I see them on a mountaintop in a picture, I want to see the video because
start from the beginning.
Yep. Yeah. And I've been able to watch that video, and I know, Jordan, just like us building our businesses, it took a ton of work. And also know you're just at the beginning, and being on the 100th episode, man, we are humbled and honored. Mm-hmm. And we just thank you for what you've done for the industry and what you're continuing to do, and just how you're using the skill set God's given you. And I just encourage everybody out there, you've got something in you. Go out and use it.
Well, thank you guys. Really, really appreciate it. And I love those parting words. You've got something in you, go out and use it. And again, got 100 episodes here. You got, I think you said 28 episodes on the Williford Brothers podcast, but then go do something. Okay. Don't get caught up in all this. Just like Luke said, you got something in you, go out and use it now and do good with it, right? Create that value between, expectation and what you actually offer, and go see how far that takes you in life. So guys, appreciate you so much. Thank you again for joining me. Such a huge honor to have you guys on with me, and let's hang out again soon, huh?
Yes. Yeah. Like Lee said, here's to 100 more.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work. No, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
See you, bro.
Hi, Jordan.
All right. I hope you guys love that episode with Luke and Lee. Go check out their podcast, the Williford Brothers. They got some great stuff going on over there. Every episode, this one is no exception. I want you to pick one thing, put it into action today. And I just actually want to share a quote that I feel like is fitting for episode 100, and it's fitting for so many of us in our journey. I think Lee said it, maybe Luke. I can't remember which one of them said it now, but I thought it was a great quote, and it's this: you don't land at the top of the mountain. All right. So wherever you're at in your journey, hey, just realize it's a journey, and we're going to be climbing that mountain, trying to achieve our goals, achieve that financial freedom, quit your 9-to-5, whatever it is that you have in mind with laundromats. They can get you there, but it is a mountain that you have to climb, and you don't land at the top. And it just feels fitting as I'm at episode 100 for myself and looking to where I want to go with Laundromat Resource and how I can better help and better serve this industry. Man, not at the top of the mountain. Still got a long way to go. So let's keep plugging along. I'll keep plugging along over here. You keep plugging along in your laundromat journey, and we will continue to get together here on the podcast, or on the webinars, or on YouTube, or on the website, on the forums, wherever we get together. That's where we'll be, I guess. All right. We'll see you next week for episode 101. Peace.